Alrighty, guys. Hello and welcome back to the show. We got a cast coming your way today, but
Warning.
what the hell is that?
Warning.
Oh my god. The man himself is here.
Strategic launch detected.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the one and only Strategic Launch for this cast, which I think is pretty impressive because, you know, this is going to be a nuclear cast any way you slice it. And I mean, I don't know whether we're talking like World War II, Mushroom Cloud, or whether it's going to be like Cyber and Singularity rising up out of the abyss, you know, whether it's going to be one of those kinds of things. But either way, we got the man himself, Strategic Launch, joining me on this cast. Would you like to say hello?
Hey, you there, everyone. I am so grateful to be able to cast this game here with the Duelists. It is my first ever co-cast, so I'm very excited to be here with everyone and be here on a different channel. This is the first time I've actually gone to somebody else, so thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm ready to do this thing with you.
All right, man. Yeah, well, we're going to have a good time. So we're going to do one cast for my channel, and then I'll link his channel down in the description. We're going to do another cast for his channel as well. But let's go ahead and get into introducing our players and the map. So the map we've got is Neuroxis map generator, as is tradition, because I barely cast anything else apparently these days. Team 1 up at the top, Team 2 down at the bottom. We've got a proper 6v6 action. Starting off with what I believe is going to be the rear guard air position. We've got It's Coming Home. And he's going as the Aeon, poor deluded soul. He is going first land. To the west, we have got a UEF by the name of Latrut. Seen him in several casts before, going UEF opening first land. Down to the south in another forward position, we've got Sykes-Alon, which again, I think he has won the award for most fun name to say in every cast that I've done. Going Seraphim opening first land. Teammate down to the southeast, we've got Bannable Offense, who's going Cybran, opening first land, second air. Moving down in the deep royal purple, we've got Mythologist, who's going Seraphim, not Cybran, Seraphim, opening first land. And last but not least, for team number 1, we have Blissful Noob, who actually is in this game. I actually didn't know that whenever I was like throwing a name out to my co-caster randomly before we started, but he's going UEF opening first land, and I'll leave it to Strategic Launch to introduce the Team 2 players.
So in the north, we have for Team 2, we have Chap? I think it's Chap.
Sure.
He is a UEF for this match. He is in Royal Blue. And again, he is a UEF. He is rated at 1,000?
Yeah,
rated.
1,000.
To his southeast, we have in Chevy Crimson the Seraphim player of Eco Player 7. Yep, there he is. He is Seraphim for this match. He is a 1,400. To the southwest, we have in Glow in the Dark Green, we have as a Cybran for this match, Luker. He is a 2,000 rated player. And continuing on eastward, we have in Batman Gray, the other Seraphim player here for Team 2. He is Willow Wisp. Sorry. I make war on you. Apologies. He is in, again, Batman Gray as a 2,100. He is the highest rated player on Team 2. And continuing on northeastward, we have in Pac-Man Yellow making his way to the front side of the map. We have Compost. He is an Aeon for this match, and he is an 1,100. And last but not least here for Team 2, we have in Stitch Blue, the other Cyberpunk player for Team 2. It is Willow Wisp. There he is. He is a 2,000 rated.
So heavyweight matchup here between multiple different people on, you know, upper, I guess you would call it like proper pro rating, like upper teens, I guess. So like 1,900, 1,700, 1,800, and then a couple 2,000s. So lots of pretty high rated players in this game. Already seeing some drops out from Bannable Offense, which I don't know, dropping plateaus does seem like it should be a bannable offense in my opinion, because, you know, I don't know how you have the APM to be able to do that. But either way, getting some drops out, grabbing some of that mass. We also got Luker dropping some engineers of his own on the northern side of the map. And this is just going to be just an all-out land bloodbath, I think, up here. Super open, expecting to see a good amount of run bys. In the middle, of course, you got a little bit more choke point, a lot more opportunities to firebase between Will-O-Wisp and Blissful Noob. But I think Blissful Noob here going to have his work cut out for him. We've seen both of these guys play, but Will-O-Wisp always seems to have, something that he pulls out of his ass at the last minute in the 11th hour as far as like artillery or tele snipes. And he is going Cybran, so tellies are on the books here. What do you think as far as gameplay?
I was gonna say that man is crazy. I mean, the fact, I think I had a video a couple days ago, and this guy, I mean, he can, his APM is probably just way high, probably in the thousands. I don't know. He's gonna be crazy. He's definitely gonna be. He's one of those players that either he is the last player alive on his team or he is the first player to die. Usually, when I cast him, that's what happens. But we'll see if he sticks around for the long term. I think he will, but he is facing a tough opponent, so that is going to be an interesting matchup. And his opponent is going for gun, and he is not, so that will be a little bit of an advantage to him as the game progresses, at least in the early to mid game.
Yeah, Blissful Noob getting some forward manufacturing up. Same with Will-O-Wisp, but Blissful Noob also going for that gun upgrade. Willow not going for that gun upgrade just yet. Whole slew of comm upgrades, though, happening up here in the north with pretty much all gun upgrades there for Latrot, damage and range. Chap, damage and range as well, so the UEF having something of a civil war here. And then we've also got Eco Player 7 going for gun speed and range on that Seraphim commander. And Luker actually stealing some mexes from his land players, even dropping and grabbing some mexes for himself. And then gun speed as well coming in from Composite. Nano Repair now on the way for Blissful Noob. So Blissful Noob just going full combat comm here, wants to shut down Willow, I think, as quickly as possible.
And the environment in that corner of the map, it's going to make it very easy and difficult to hold because, I mean, there's very few access points. You have a decent amount of chokeholds, and you can get kill boxes pretty much anywhere up until, I mean, a little bit past his forward factories for Willow. So he's going to be very cautious about where his comm is because he can get caught very easily or he can try to deny very easily. So, I mean, you see in the Northwest where it's just open, there's no issues with land. Everybody's just going to have a bloodbath, like you said. But the middle to the southeast, it's going to be very much more contrived, very much like you have to be very careful where stuff goes because you can get caught and you're going to die. So players can be very careful about that.
That's a really morbid way of, saying that you got to be careful. You're like, you will get caught and you will die. It's like, I don't know, the way that you phrase that made me think of like Mean Girls. You will get pregnant and then you will die.
Yes, it will happen. You have to be aware of that. That is a thing that can happen.
But Nano done for Blissful Noob, now advancing forward with his commander. Gun upgrade just now finishing out for Willow. So Willow a little bit outmatched as far as the comm, but at least he's got that gun upgrade, which is going to help him out quite a bit, at least slow down Blissful. And going to grab a quick stealth upgrade. Should be able to finish this before Blissful Noob comes in. Now we got, I think, some of our first comm on comm action. We do have a little bit of action coming up here, and I might actually go to split screen here if I can remember how to do this. It's insert. Nope, that's not it. End. And then home. Got it. There we go. So a couple of comm incursions here. We've got on the right-hand side, Eco Player 7 squaring off against 6 Salon, and then Will-O-Wisp fending off an incursion from Blissful Noob. Will-O-Wisp is going to be able to finish that stealth upgrade, going to be making a hasty retreat, but going to sacrifice a lot of his forward manufacturing, while 6 Salon looking dead. Like he has gotten pregnant and he will die.
Yeah, that's not looking good. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he does have one PDM placement that's going to help a little bit, but you can see that focus fire down on that commander. Eco Player is probably just like, I don't want to deal with him. Yep, there he goes. Yep, there he goes. It's kind of the way it goes in this game sometimes is you push a little too much or you get pushed on and you end up dead.
That is true. I always hate that too. Like you get into You know, because these guys, like, this is a 6v6. It's a pretty high level game. They were probably waiting for like 30 minutes for this game to fill, and then you're out in 9 minutes. Like, well, okay, I guess it's bedtime.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And then I always think about, like, I always make comments in my cast where it's like these players are sometimes playing like at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, how do they function? And then now you're in a game, like, oh great, I can play a game, and then now it's, like you said, 10 minutes in, like, okay, well, that's it. Well, I'm going to bed. I'm not waiting 45 minutes or an hour plus just to wait for these guys to finish, so then we can play again. I'm not go to bed. Don't worry about it. But we do see that Team One's Blissful Noob is actually getting some assistance from his, well, not the rear guard so player, more like the eco player of Bannable Offense. He's kind of almost swapping in for his teammate.
Yeah, and as far as long range support, we've also got tactical missiles that are getting launched at several of Willow's Tech 2 mechs here, so he's not going to be super happy about that. You know, I'm curious from your perspective, because the way that I've always played the game, and granted I don't play very much anymore, but you mentioned that, you would classify Bannable Offense as kind of an eco player. What do you think makes an eco player instead of like an air player?
Well, you usually will try to go for all T3 mechs first, and then maybe kind of dip your toes into land or air, and maybe sometimes Navy. Yeah, there are instances where maybe there is a flank or a player that's struggling, and you do kind of dip in a little bit before that. But mainly, it's how fast can you scale your eco to be able to either help out your team, or maybe go for a nuke or go for a game ender or something like that. I mean, these high-rated players, I mean, we already see, lines kind of collapsing, lines kind of, on both sides, not really staying very stable. So we may see Bountiful Offense coming in. And maybe he just doesn't like Willow today for some reason, and he's coming to really just shove it down his throat, because he is getting bombarded down there. And it's not looking good for him. I mean, he's losing mexes very quickly. We do see he's getting some TMD up and stuff like that. But his eco, he's still at over roughly 100 mass per second, kind of. So he's doing pretty well considering. So it does make sense that he would be teamed up on at least a little bit, especially being in that corner.
Yeah, and I think, well, at least in every cast I've ever done, he's always kind of been like the ringer that comes out of nowhere with like a Paragon and a Salvation or something. So maybe nobody likes him.
I mean, or he's just that good, and you have to double team him, like Michael Jordan or something, and you have to, or it's just not going to work out for you. So we are seeing that eco player is pushing into Bannable Offense's position up here to the north, and that's not really looking good, because that's his secondary facility. He doesn't have a lot there. He does have a decent amount of PD, but I mean, that is where his headquarters is, so he has to be careful not to lose that.
I think the Ilshivas will be able to deal with it. Like, eco player just took like an absolute pounding to the face from those PDs and Ilshivas, and he doesn't have nano, so he's headed home.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, he does not have nano, and that Seraphim nano is nuts. Like, even just the regular nano, the Seraphims are almost too tanky, I feel like, in this game.
And that is why I ranked them as the #1 faction in that video several years ago.
Yep.
But otherwise on the map, we're getting shield upgrade here for composite, nano repair, so another Seraphim. God, I keep mixing up Seraphim and Cybran. Seraphim nano repair. I almost did it again. Coming out from Mythologist. Bannable Offense has put himself back in a little bit more of a passive role here on the front lines with Blissful Noob. He doesn't have any comm upgrades, so that makes a little bit more sense. And Willow is, I think, just happy that, more damage hasn't been done to his base.
Yeah, I mean, he might retreat for now and kind of just let it kind of die a little bit, at least on the front lines, at least like himself being there. Because we are starting to approach that 15, 20-minute mark where snipes can occur. We don't really see strat bombers first that much anymore, because they've been kind of nerfed a lot. But we do see them on occasion, so he's going to be a little bit careful. But to be fair, he does have that stealth upgrade, so it does give him a little bit more leeway of they can't really see him very easily with radar. So we'll see how long he stays there, but I think he's going to retreat probably in a couple more minutes, just because it is a little touch and go. But we do, yeah, I was going to say, we do see in the north 2 UEF players kind of going at it, and it's not really going good for either of them, but worse for Chap.
Yeah, I think Chap is extended a little bit too far here. As long as Latrot, doesn't see a squirrel and lose focus, I think Chap is done here.
Yeah, and there he goes. That's just how it goes. We do see, I mean, those forces around him luckily were wiped out by that explosion, so he doesn't have to worry too much about any unnecessary damage.
The other thing I did want to point out is look at the northern side of the map. Like Luker has just taken all of the mass up here. Like he's not even a frontline player. He's like back here. He's playing air, and he's just airdropped up here, taking all of the mass, and then just let Chap be kind of the punching bag. And the punching bag finally broke here. So Luker probably not going to be able to hang on to, I think, a lot of these mexes for long term, because I think Latrot's going to get his feet under him a little bit. Although Latrot has been hurt pretty badly.
Yeah, he does have a couple of units starting to be built here to deal with a couple of those mexes, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing going on in that corner. So, I mean, Luker's been raking in the mass for a while now. He isn't the ones producing the most, but I mean, like you said, for an air player, this part of the game, I mean, he's really killing it with that mass. But I feel like he should probably donate some of that over to somebody else, specifically maybe I Make War on You. At least, I mean, I know he's up at 200 or something, but at least give a little bit more weight to him just to really secure that flank, because it's I mean, it's going back and forth up there, and it could turn the tide if I Make War on You cannot control it long enough.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, that would require players being selfless people, and we both know that this is survival of the fittest, baby. This is not. We're not on a team.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's no team here. There's just me. M-E, in team,
yeah,
me.
You win the game too if I win. So I can get all the mass, and then you can just get the little check mark that you won, kind of the next participation trophy.
Oh, dude, how do you think I'm a 1400? I just joined these high level games. I am a team player. I try to touch the ball as little as possible. Like I get to Tech 3 and I just start donating Percivals to the highest level player.
I mean,
I'm all about the teamwork.
Do.
I'm all about teamwork, baby.
I am all about sending Percies everywhere on the map, because they are the best T3 unit in the game, and there's nothing you can do or say that could change my mind about that.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you. They square off against like pretty much all the other T3 units they can beat. So they're the best versus T3. I think that like if for whatever reason you're making bricks and your opponent is like spam rushing Zooies, I think that bricks are a little bit better than Percivals just because of the fire rate. But yeah, as far as like squaring off against like experimentals or other T3, Percivals are pretty much it.
Oh, look at this in the north. We got Eco players making another play for that base. I don't think it's going to work for him. He does have more support than he did last time, but you can see that army behind him from Latrot is slowly building in. So if he gets cornered, that's or he's just going to leave anyways. That also works.
I think that Eco player's in a pretty good spot here, because he's got Restoration Field as well as Nano now. Oh, okay. Never mind. You're right. He did just leave. That was what you meant by he just leaves. Yeah,
I was like, why? That's weird. I don't know if he knew he had to leave or something, but yeah, I didn't see anything in chat about him leaving. So they could be on comms for all we know, but it is really weird that he just charged the base and then died.
Yeah, he was just like, pizza got here, my girlfriend's horny, I mean, there's a bunch of different scenarios that we can play out.
The dog could be barking at some guy that walks across the street or something.
Oh, dude, my dogs are the worst. The wind will blow, and I have one dog that barks, and then the other dog, like, somebody could be breaking down our door, and she won't make a peep.
Yeah, my dog's literally the definition of all bark and no bite. Once you get in through that door, like, pet me. Hi, hello, how are you? But if you're outside, oh, good luck.
We got a little air engagement here. Luker's going to mop it up. Luker been playing quite well from an air perspective. I've seen a couple of different air engagements. I've tried to grab them, but he's come up on top on pretty much every air engagement versus It's Coming Home, his opponent. So, you know, It's Coming Home's fighter pilots are definitely not coming home from any engagement, unfortunately. But
Nope.
yeah, Luker doing quite well. Got to chalk a little bit of that up to the extra mass that he's gotten. Like a lot of these are even Tech 2. Some of them are capped right now with mass storage. Luker now at 403 mass income versus 228 from his opponent. And Luker is on 2 bases, to be fair. But I don't think he was on. I think he was even beating It's Coming Home last I checked before he picked up a second base.
Yeah, and that was from Eco Players who we got that base from. So, yeah, he is definitely going to be one to watch, especially we get to the late game. Because if he's already at 400 now, he's probably thinking of like, okay, I'm going to need to spend my mass elsewhere. Probably going to be a nuke. Probably going to be maybe artillery.
Yeah, I don't know how you get to that mass like so quickly. If I'm trying my hardest, I can get to maybe 150, 200 by 20 minutes.
Yeah, you also just got to get lucky that you're not attacked every 5 seconds because, I mean, like we see, Luker's mexes, a third of them are still there. They have not been shot at. So he's not going to have to worry about go back and rebuild and do all that APM. He can focus a lot better. And, I mean, we even see him, he's charging in with a land army against this position. I mean, he's really spending his APM a lot. Like, he has, I don't know what it is with these players, but they have so much APM.
Well, and I think that's I've talked about this in the past. It's been a long time, but like that's there's two resources in FAF that you collect, but there's a third resource, which is like your player actions per minute, like, and how you divert those resources is equally important, if not more so, than like where you spend your mass and energy and everything. As Latrot is going to be Latrotting out of this game. Ran into a couple of Titans.
Yeah, I don't really know why he left his base. I don't know if he was like walking around scooping up mass and then they kind of just went hello and then killed him. I don't really know why he left. So he was perfectly fine in his base and then he decided to leave coverage and then he died. So that is a note. You got to have coverage all day, every day.
Okay, so question for you. This does not seem to be going very well for Team 1. Like, they're losing in the air. You know, they're losing, well, not really losing, but, you know, they've lost a couple of different players. It seems like they're having issues in both the center and in the north. Map control for Team 2, I mean, they've got a solid 60 to 65% of the map. What do you think Team 1 should do at this point, knowing that we have the benefit of seeing the entire map?
I mean, I think at this point, maybe a nuke would be great because then you could wipe at least one base off the map at a minimum before everybody else responds to it. Because that is something I have seen as a trend where maybe an air player will go for an SMD, maybe like another higher rated player will go for it. But a lot of players, they'll wait for the nuke to either be spotted or even be launched before they build an SMD. So if Team 1 goes for a nuke in like the next couple of minutes, they could maybe get Willow. They could be very lucky and get Luker. I highly doubt it. But they could at least go for maybe... I mean, Willow might be the best option because we've seen a lot of momentum kind of back and forth between those players in the Southeast. And I know he has a monkey, which is great. But if you nuke his entire base, he can't build another one. So, and then you can just kind of sweep the southern edge and then kind of go in this kind of clockwise manner. Because there's really nothing down there once you push through, not Luka, but Willow's base.
Yeah, very little. I would have, I'll be honest with you. I don't mean to dog on you too much, considering you and I just met like for the first time 50 minutes ago. But I don't want to dog on you too much, but I really would have expected something a little bit more creative than just nuke him from, considering your name and everything, strategic launch. I guess I should have expected that answer, but,
Well, I mean, I get comments all the time. Like when there's a game where there's a lot of nukes, there'll just be like 8 or 10 comments where it's just kaboom or like some variant of that because my viewers love it when I do that really like kaboom, that like really really good boom noise. Because I mean, I kind of try to weight it depending on what the nuke is and what gets killed. But yeah, I mean, you can always nuke them. It infinite range, technically infinite damage, sort of.
No, not infinite damage. A nuke will not kill a megalith.
That's why I said sort of.
Yeah.
'Cause there are units that will survive one.
I think that's the only unit.
That and the Colossus.
Oh, the Colossus as well. Okay.
Because it's I think it's 70,000 damage is technically the stat. So if you have an upgraded, or not an upgraded, but a vetted chicken, then that will survive. But chickens are a dime a dozen. Nah.
That's true. $5 at Costco.
Yep, exactly. They are great. I love those. I love those rotisserie chickens. They are the best.
Oh yeah, dude. But
I mean, we are seeing that Monkey Lord is coming into play here shortly for the Southeast. For Willow, he's pushing up against a fatty, which is, I mean, it's trying to hold it off. He's dealt with the bricks, but he's got to keep going, or that monkey's going to catch up to him.
yeah, I got to keep moving. You know, do the whole Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. There are two comms here, both blissful as well as bannable offense. Both of them pretty badly damaged, but I mean, the fat boy can't stand up to the monkey head on. So, I mean, blissful is gonna lose this base. I don't think there's any way he can save it.
No, at this point, just do as much damage to the monkey, and then maybe turn around with both comms and kind of do a 1-2 overcharge. But even then, you're going to be risking dying. So the best thing would just be get out of there.
Yeah,
And just
probably get
kinda-
out of there. Willow,
he does have a-
dropping his comm.
Yeah, I don't know what that mad lad is doing. Like, because there's a monkey inbound right now. He does have the laser on board, which, I mean, that is par for the course for Willow for just kind of just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at everything. But
But he doesn't have cloaking.
no, he does not, which is, I don't know why he didn't go for that before he left. And he might die because of this. Cause,
I think he's dead.
yeah, yeah, he's dead.
I think he's dead. Okay, well, I mean, that's probably a sigh of relief there for Team 1 and a break that they very much needed. Because they're getting, you know, again, a pretty sizable APM out off of the board from a 2,000 rated player. And unfortunately, you know, it's probably going to go to either Luker or I Make War on You. But, you know, still, getting a player of that caliber off the board is never something you're going to complain about.
Nope. Now, if you can trade a 1,000 for a 2,000 rated, you'll do that every day of the week.
Oh, yeah, dude. There were a couple of, like, really good players that I used to play with quite often back whenever I was still playing. And, I mean, it was pretty regular that, like, you know, we'd be out on, like, Hilly Plateau or something like that where you have, like, 5 comms on 5 comms. They're like, dude, let's just detonate yourself. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I'll take one for the team here, and I can take, like, 3 comms with me.
Ooh, yeah, that 3-for-1 trade, I mean, that's great. Yeah, I am not that skilled enough to be able to play at that level yet. I did try to get myself up there to about 1,000, but I kind of got distracted by other games and other life situations and whatnot, and kind of just fell off of doing that, you know, road trip to 1,000 series. I may start that up here a couple weeks or so, but we'll see how all of the other things, because Frostpunk 2, shout out, is coming out soon. So, yeah, that will probably replace my Thursday other video. So.
How dare you plug your channel on my channel?
I'm here, right?
No, I'm kidding.
And, oh no, you're good. Like I love that game. That is such a fun game to play. And it's very morbid. I'm like those players, like I like Dead Space. That game, that series, that's such a good one. Oh, so good. But those just like very gritty, very kind of dark, but there is a little bit of humor in it, kind of games and franchises and stuff. So delicious.
Yeah. Well, another thing that's pretty gritty and dark, at least if you're on Team 2, is Luker's Air just got absolutely manhandled here by It's Coming Home. Combination of Restorers, which I recently did a science video on, if you guys want to go check that out, and the ASF from It's Coming Home just absolutely wiped the floor, took one of the chickens as well. So Luker getting a very stinging defeat from the air side of things, maybe underestimating the Restorers a little bit. And once again, seeing the power of the Aeon Tech 3 gunship.
I hate those things. Absolutely. Would throw them in the trash if I could. They are so annoying to deal with. I mean, yeah, their air-to-ground weaponry is not great, but I will not fight them with my ASF or anything. I'm just like, nope, gonna ignore it. Not gonna worry about it.
Just like, nope, allies in the garbage. He's getting hit by restorers. I can't touch that. I'm just gonna sacrifice, for the greater good.
Pretty much.
Soul Ripper as well, now out from I Make War on You, sees himself a nice little tasty obese child there on the ground. Going to be able to snap himself up that little treat real quick. And we also have a megalith in tow behind him. And
yeah, but I think that bug's going to go the way to the dodo bird here soon, because those ASFs are inbound.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it was close, though. It almost got the fat boy, but I hate it. Bugs and restorers. Those are the two things I just cannot stand. I do not like the bug.
Yeah. And large T3 incursion again. So Team 2 has really seemed like they've stabilized over the last 10 minutes or so. It seemed like the whole house was burning down about 10 minutes, but it seems like they've gotten some decent defensive lines set up and are at least able to, maybe not hit back, but they're at least able to keep from getting hit at this point, which is what they needed to do. And now they need to figure out how to hit back.
Yeah, they are having this problem where, the southeastern side, it's essentially just no man's land. That's where Willow died. In the middle, it's kind of shaping up. I was just about to say, there goes Team 1 central player. And we're seeing a lot of I'm not going to let you kill me. I'm just going to control K. Willow did that. And I don't know what it is with players not letting other players get the kill on them. I guess it's just a pride thing. I have no idea, but
it's for sure a pride thing.
it's true, right?
FAF player not being proud of their gameplay? No,
that can't be true.
That can't be true. But once again, the Restorer's completely mopping up a push here. And he's at critical, It's Coming Home has got critical mass now on these Restores. We've got 64 in this ball, 80 total on the field. We got another 15 or so up in the north. And that seems to be kind of the play from Team 2 and how they kind of stabilize in this game is, just mass Restorer spam. You can't touch me with your ASF because you're going to deal with SAMs and you're going to deal with my ASF and the Restorers, which do a pretty healthy job at defending themselves from air anyway. So that seems to be the game plan here.
Which does work in some scenarios. The only thing is that if you can get a large enough land push, those Restorers are not going to do anything because, yeah, you can deal with air, like you said, but on the ground side of things, if you have a lot of flak, T3 or T2 or what have you, those Restorers are dead very quickly. So Team 1's going to be very careful, not lean in it too heavily, but they are going to lean into it at least a little bit more because why not? They have the advantage. You push the advantage. They are getting pushed back here, but that push is slowly dying out.
Yeah, this is a mass donation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be anything super important lost. I haven't seen any mexes die yet. And so, yeah, if you have that big of a push where, you've just littered the map with, 10 to 20,000 worth of reclaim here, you want to at least get a couple mexes out of it, but I don't even think they got really that. They got a couple factories, and that was about it.
And those are dime a dozen. You don't have to worry about those.
No, definitely do not have to worry about those. And down here, I missed this, but Restorers on the warpath going after Luker's air grid here. Luker,
and it's gone.
Yeah. That thing is... that was fast.
Yeah, those volatile explosions, they'll get you every time. Luckily, it wasn't as bad. I've seen games where people just draw a box of just air grid, and I'm like, artillery is waiting to strike that thing. But look at this, they're still going, and there's nothing that Team 2 can do about this. Yeah, there's some AA trying to be built, but it's not going to go great. Even if some of the volatile explosion does kill some of the Restorers, this is 15 mexes at a minimum that are going down in this push.
Yeah, this is an absolute disaster for Team 2. And really what you needed to see out of Team 1 to kind of turn this game around. And I swear, guys, I'm not trying to like cherry pick games that just like showcase how good the restorers are, but like, you know, it's hard to deny. Like, they're doing pretty damn good here. Oh my God, is Luker out of the water? No, he's
No,
fully
he's
in the water.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hiding. He's going for that laser. He's going to go for telemaser at this point. I mean, that's not necessarily his only play, but if he dies, it goes over to I make war on you, and then he can do something with the whatever he has left.
Yeah, but
So
again, you're still cutting down on that third resource, man. Like actions per minute on
yeah,
the team.
yeah. I mean, and that might be his idea. Is just I'll start an upgrade. I'll kind of just let it work in the background, and I'll try to do whatever I can. So, because it's going to be at least 5-10 minutes before this base is back up and running.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got more problems up north. We got another cloud of restorers moving in, taking out more mexes and manufacturing this time for I make war on you. So nobody's coming out of this one unscathed. There are a couple lightning tanks that are able to sit a little bit on the outside and do some work on these gunships, but I mean, the gunships should be able to just nuke those things down pretty quickly if they want to.
Yeah, and the flak on the chickens are not great. They're only useful for T1 bombers. Anything else is just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's decorative. It's decorative flak.
Yes, that's the good word for it. Decorative. Yes.
Yeah. That was.
What is that down there? That's a Scathus down there.
Oh shit! You're right.
And it looks like Team 1 just spotted it.
Yeah, Team 1 has spotted it. The restorers are on the way. We'll see if there's a lot of AA in this base. So I make war on you is prepared for this one. You can see those restorers are starting to struggle here with this number of SAM fire coming out. But I mean, this is a lot of restorers, man. We'll see if they can get through that shield.
Yeah, the AA is being built decently quickly. They can kind of try to dip underneath the shield if the shield is tall enough, but it doesn't look like the Cybran ones, at least in this variety, are that tall. I don't know. I think they're the one size smaller, if I believe, just off the... Yeah, because they're the ED4s. Yeah, they're not the 5s. The 5s, I think you get a little bit more height out of them. But
oh, so the 5s you can actually get under with gunships?
I think so, because I know there are shields that the gunships can just coast right under. So I don't know if the Cybran ones can do that, but I do know the Seraphim ones can. They're very tall.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check on that then. But yeah, I'll take your word for it there. But doesn't look like they were able to get under the Cybran ones. But either way, I make war on you is not out of the woods yet. He's got a Fat Boy coming in. Same Fat Boy actually as earlier with 5 ranks of veterancy on it.
Ooh.
Got himself a bunch of Tech 1 artillery. Megalith, very fortunately, just now finished for I make war on you. So that's going to be able to at least get the Fat Boy, shoo the Fat Boy away a little bit.
If the Fat Boy actually gets away. Because that, I mean, I think that Megalith is going on the warpath. And I don't think that Fat Boy is possibly coming home.
We'll see. I think that the Megalith and the Fat Boy both have identical move speeds. So as long as this Fat Boy stays out of the Megalith's range, he should be fine. But Blissful Noob needs to make sure that that thing does not stop moving because he's very close to being in range right now.
Yeah.
All right, I take it back. He is now in range. That is going to be one sad Fat Boy.
Yep, that guy's dead. There's no hope of that thing. Just go get an ice cream sandwich, you know.
Head down to the 7-Eleven, grab yourself a big gulp, and yeah, unfortunately, not going to be coming home on that one. Megalith going to post up against a couple of Percivals. Should be able to deal with it, I think.
Oh yeah, he's still in the yellow. There's not that many there. He'll be fine.
I was more concerned with the Tech 1 artillery.
Yeah, I have seen Tech 1 artillery just rip apart an experimental because it's not moving. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, and then up in the north, huge amounts of Tech 1 manufacturing now coming out of Bannable Offense here. All Zooey mobile artillery. And this is just an interesting strategy that I sometimes see out of Seraphim players is like, they're just like, you know, they're not a huge fan of the Tech 3 that comes out of Seraphim, whether it be the siege tanks or the snipers. I think that Seraphim Tech 3 isn't too bad, but they just draw huge lines of Tech 1 factories and just mass Zooey spam.
Well, it's cheap, and especially if your opponents have a lot of PD, they're going to be constantly shooting at the Zooey, especially if it's the Ravager from the UEF. I mean, those things take forever to spin up and then fire and then reload. And you have like, 30 or 50 Zooey. It's not going to shoot all of them or hit all of them. So they're going to break through at some point.
Yeah, and I make war on you actually going entirely back to the Stone Age here now with huge amounts of Tech 1 bombers as well, now eating up Tech 3 factories and Tech 3 mexes as well. And now it's looking really rough for Team 2 as Team 1 has pretty much flipped the map on its head now and is holding about 65% of the map for themselves.
That is one way to counter the Scathus, though, is that just spam a bunch of stuff everywhere. It can't, I mean, the accuracy on that thing is just, it's not great. It's very, very bad.
Yeah, and maybe that was the reasoning behind it is like, hey, I'm never going to be able to hold a Tech 3 HQ ever again. So, I'm just going to overwhelm you with little Tech 1 artillery out of 30 factories across the map that you're never going to be able to kill all of.
I mean, that's what the Russians did, and it worked.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. You're a history guy?
Yeah, I got in high school and a little bit of college. I got really into like World War II and all of that. That's kind of where some of my love of strategy came from, was like learning World War II and all those fun wars that the U.S. got themselves involved in that some of them shouldn't have been involved in. But that's a different conversation for a different different video. But
we can have that conversation on your cast.
Yeah, we can.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, I really, I don't know what it is, but World War II for some reason it's just like not peak war. That's a really bad way to put it, but it's just like anything pretty much exists in that war besides nukes, except at the very end. So it's just, you can really do you can learn a lot of stories and stuff that they've had done during the war, and all the Enigma machine that they had to crack, and so many good things from World War II. So many good movies out of that conflict.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you're really into history, and I don't know if you've got to do like a lot of driving or you just like listening to stuff, but a podcast I would highly recommend is one called Hardcore History with it's the host is named Dan Carlin. He does massive shows that are like, he did like a 5-part series on Stalingrad that was probably 2.5 to 3 hours per episode.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and he's going into like letters and stuff like that were sent from both the Germans and the Russians during that battle. So very, very cool podcast if you're just interested in any type of history, not just World War II.
Yeah, I do a decent amount of driving sometimes for work and flying. It's a little bit both, but yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds very fun, and I might skip a little bit because like sometimes it just kind of gets, okay, we get it. Somebody's upset. Someone's feelings got hurt. We don't need to listen to like 30 minutes of like them going back and forth about it kind of thing. But yeah, I'll definitely will check it out.
I think that I might not have done a great job of selling it. It's not something, because I'm the same way. It's not something that I've ever like skipped.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
I've listened to like all 3 hours and been like genuinely fascinated.
That sounds good. Yeah, I was going to say I listen to like 20+ hour audiobooks, so that's definitely up my alley. So
anyway, back to this game before we turn this into our own little podcast. The Scathus is doing its thing down here, but Team 1 is now just so freaking spread out. And both teams I think are just like struggling to hang on, or well, Team 2 is now just really struggling to hang on to really anything. It's just been like a mass combination of like a couple Percivals, couple bricks, large amounts of Zooies, and then an experimental. Like, and you've got these little squads that are just kind of these little death squads that are just like rumbling around the map, just killing everything in their path.
Yeah, we are seeing a crab on crab action down there, and there are 2 bugs right next door to that crab, and 2 chickens. I think there's a dead Scathus in Team 2's future, because it's those chickens aren't, well, I was going to say they aren't stopping, but they are going to stop. I feel like with chickens, especially if they're like half health, there's no point in just standing them there and let everybody fire at one another. Just send them in, because the Ion Storm's going to probably do more damage than just keeping them there a little bit outside of range.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, three pretty heavily damaged experimentals here walking into the last, you know, I would say super critical base here, and even the hive's actually going on a reclaim order on these chickens. Bug's gonna crash over it. Scathis does go down, but chicken number 1 going down. Chicken number 2 probably gonna be pretty close behind under both the Cerberus fire and Jesus Christ, that's a lot of Cerberus down there too. As well as the Ion Storm, his buddy not really doing him any favors either.
Yeah, but the Cerberus are tickle cannons, so I mean they don't really do a whole lot of damage. They're just kind of there. I mean they're good for T1 units, and that's it.
They look cool though.
That's fair. They do look cool. It's been forever since I played the second game, but I think they changed the way they work in the second game. I think they fire slower in the second game that will not be named.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember I tried that game a while back, but anyway, not blissful noobs. I make war on you. Base is properly being taken apart. I make war on you, actually dying, either control K-ing or just outright dying to Solace torpedo bombers now. Out of oh Jesus Christ! And Luker almost gets deleted in one pass.
Ooh, he's dead. He's not
third one on the way. That Solace is on the warpath. Luker going to be defeated, and that's going to leave our lonely 1100 rated player Composite to, you know, hang on for as long as he can. But he seems to be walking into the light here.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do at that point. I mean, he's taking the honorable approach of just dying in a ball of fire and plasma.
Either way, though, I'm shocked that, you know, hats off to Team 1. That was some really, really good work to get this game turned around. It was looking pretty dicey there in the earlier stages of the game, but definitely was able to turn it around and eke out the win. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll drop Strategic Launch's channel, as well as the video that he and I do for his channel, down in the description below. Dude, thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to doing the next video here with you in about 10 minutes. But do you have anything you'd like to say to close us out?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great match, and this was a very fun experience. I'm excited for the next cast that I'm going to be doing with my fellow YouTuber here. But I'm just really appreciative to be on a new stage. It's different that I'm not in the driver's seat and kind of like not a passenger, but kind of like a co-driver at this point. It's a little different. So it's been a great experience. I love it. I'm excited for the next one, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Great way to close it out. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.